What's up YouTube, I'm Max Klein. Today I'm going to do my top 10 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. Alright, so this is a top 10 list of all my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monsters throughout my whole little Yu-Gi-Oh history. So let's get started. Number 10, number 39, Utopia. Now this guy is all sorts of awesome. I love everything about this card. I love how he's an Xyz monster, the first major one shown. I love how he's a protagonist monster with 2,500 attack points. I love his ability, Moon Barrier. I love his Xyz form. I love everything about this card. This card is my favorite Xyz monster ever made, and it'll stay that way. I love how it's Warrior, and I think it's just awesome. And if you guys don't know, its Japanese name is Aspiration King Hope, and I actually like that name more than its original, than its English, sorry. Its English name, number 39, Utopia, but I thought it's still kind of a cool name. So yeah, that's why this card is number 10. Number 9, Gagaga Magician. Now this guy is just badass. I love how he's a throwback to the Dark Magician, Gagaga Magician. He's got the Gagaga girl, just like the Dark Magician girl. I love his ability that helps with Xyz, transform to any level 1 through 8. Not only helps on Xyz, but also other cards that have to do with level. I love how he's got his level 4 version of Dark Magician. I love how he has that awesome chain of his. I like his appearance. I think it's really cool, and his belt with the stars and all that. I find him really extremely useful in my Xyz deck. Any deck with an Xyz monster that I have, this guy's useful in. Because he can go through anywhere from 1 to 8. So that's always useful. So you want to bring out Utopia, you can use him. You want to bring out Leviathan, example, Leviathan, Thunder End. Well, not Thunder End, but like Neo Galaxy Eyes, people like that, yeah. You can bring this guy out just using this guy in another one of those same levels. He's really useful. I really like him. I really like Gagaga Girl, but this guy's just more cool to me than Gagaga Girl. But yeah, I love this card a lot. That's why it's number 9. The only reason it's not higher is because it's kind of one of the new cards, and it doesn't intrigue me as much as some of the other cards, but I still find it worthy to be on number 9 on my list. Number 8, Flying Fortress Skyfire. This guy is really freaking cool. I love this guy. I love how he looks like a World War II jet. I mean, I like history. That's why I like seeing this card, because it reminds me of World War II jet plane or fighter, if you would play. If you like. But I like how he's the combined of all three reactors. He's got an awesome ability that blows up your opponent's field, each card by a time, inflicts 800, all that fun stuff. I like how he has a good amount of attack points. He's really good. I have a Reactor Roy deck. If you want to see that, I put the video in the description, and he's like my favorite card in that deck. I really love this card. It's a very useful card in tight situations. It's really good when you combine it with like cracking and those kind of effect cards. It's a really good burn staple card, I would say. Well, not staple, but really good for burn decks because it does 800 points each time it activates its ability. I really like this card. It's really cool, and I just really like the fact that it's a jet. It's a fortress, I love that. I just really like this card. It's really visually appealing, and I really like how when Gregor summons this card, you say it's all like, "Oh no, Flying Fortress! I know I'm screwed. Oh no, what do I do now?" I love that. Seeing this card in the anime was awesome, even though it was used by a trap card called Delta Reactor in the anime, which doesn't exist. I still like this card. I love how it's a staple to reactors. It's a great ultimate card for them, and that's why this card's number 8. Number 7, Cyber Dark Dragon. Now, as a huge Zane fan, this card had to be on my list. Just had to be. I love this card. It's an undead dragon machine, which is awesome. Its huge materials are just cool. I love how it drags a dragon from your graveyard and sucks all the energy out of it. Powers it up and all. It gets 100 points for every monster in your graveyard. It's like Shadow Ghoul, but a fusion, which is awesome because I like Shadow Ghoul. I like this card. This card's really fun to me because I really like seeing it in the anime. I summon Cyber Dark Dragon, and then he ends the game right there. I loved seeing this card in the anime. I love seeing this card in real life too, in my Zane deck. I really love this card a lot because it's like taking the undead dragons in your graveyard and pulling them back to life, sucking their energy dry. Just saying, F you, Blue Eyes, I'm taking all your energy, I'm Cyber Dark Dragon. I find it really fitting as a fusion monster. It's one of my favorite fusion monsters ever made. I really like this card. This card's always been one of my favorite machine monsters. It still is. It's a very undead style card. As I said, it brings back monsters from your graveyard, but also powers itself up by how many monsters are in your graveyard, which is really cool and really not plot twisting, but like kind of unexpected. You don't expect someone to want to get rid of the rest of their deck so they can power up their monsters. You don't expect that. It's a really like, creepy tone too, and you can notice in the background it's kind of a degenerate circuit, and I like that too. It's very visually appealing, and I believe this card deserves to be a number 7. Not because it's not the bad thing to be on number 7, but it's not in higher because I have better attachments to more cards and greater cards, and I've known other cards longer. But this card still deserves a spot on my list, even though it may not be the best card I think it is, but I still love this card. Number 6, Lord of Dragons, or otherwise known as Lord of D. This card is one of the original cards of Yu-Gi-Oh! It was in the original Kaiba starter deck, and I love this card absolutely. As a Dragon fan, this card had to be put on my top 10 list. It's number 6, and it's really awesome. I really like its effect, how it stops people from designating your dragons for targets to protect them. I love how it's not actually a dragon, but it helps him. It's a spellcaster. I love how this card looks with its little dragon armor. I love its name, Lord of Dragons. Just makes it sound cool. And my favorite thing about this card is the fact that it has its own spell card, the Flute of Summoning a Dragon. The Flute of Summoning Dragon lets you summon 2 dragon monsters from your hand automatically when you have a Lord of D on the field. I love this card because of that spell card. That spell card is really awesome, especially if you have like 2 Blue Eyes or whatever you want to throw out now, Light Pulse or Dark Flare, all those stuff. Any dragon you want, play the Flute of Summoning Dragon, you can summon them instantly. I love it. I love the artwork for the Flute of Summoning Dragon as well. I love how this card's weaker, but they gave it a good enough spell card to it that it was passable as it's still passable as a card. And I still use this card in my Dragon Revival deck. If you want to see that, I'll put the link in the description. I use this card really well and really often because I find its spell card, Flute of Summoning Dragons, very well. And its own effect is good too because if your opponent plays like a Raigeki Break or Compulse, they can't pick your dragons, so your dragons are protected by their lord, literally their lord, Lord of G. It also has a fusion monster, fused with Divine Dragon Ragnarok, and you get King Dragoon. I'm not going to talk about that card too much because I don't have it and I don't really like it, but it has its own version of the Flute of Summoning Dragon, but I don't think it's as cool as this card. So yeah, I think this card is really awesome. Everything about it, its effect, its abilities, the support card it has, everything. It's a staple card in my mind. It should be a staple card in every Dragon player's deck should have this card because it really helps you in tight situations. It's helped me in tight situations many times. You know, I have like a Blue Eyes in my hand, but I don't have Kaiba Mantle. I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? Oh, Lord of D. Oh, Flute of Summoning Dragon. Okay, this works too. It's one of the oldest combos in the game, but it still works to this day, and it's still pretty broken. Number 5, Magician of Black Chaos. My second favorite spellcaster in the game. I love this card with all of my heart. This card is just amazing. I love how he looks. I love his ability, his attack points. I love how he's a ritual monster, and I just love the background he has. This little Dark Magician circle thing. It's been used in a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Every basically spellcaster that's special really has this circle in the background, but that's a little irrelevant. This is my second favorite Yugi card, as I said. I love this card. It's my favorite ritual monster in the game. I love it because it's an alternate version of the Dark Magician, and it looks awesome. I like this card more than its counterpart, Dark Magician of Chaos, because this card's a ritual spell card, and because Dark Magician of Chaos is banned. I just like this card more because I like ritual spell cards more. I like the background. I like how this guy's black and the background is blue, and then the card itself, the ritual card, is blue. I really like that. I love how the ritual spell card, Dark Magic Ritual, it looks, or Black Magic Ritual. They changed it in the English version. I don't know why, but they just did. This card just looks really visually appealing. He looks just awesome. I can't explain this card in other words, but awesome. An awesome version of the Dark Magician is the best way to explain this card. I really do like this card. This card's always been one of my favorite cards ever. Whenever I see this card played in the anime, well, when I saw it in the anime, it's only been played 2 times. I'm just like, Dark Magician of Chaos. Someone's gonna die. He only used it twice. Once against Maximilian Pegasus and once against Noah. But both times Yugi used this card, I loved it. It basically won in the game against Pegasus. I love how that's how he finishes the game with this awesome ritual monster card. That is really an awesome, much cooler version of the Dark Magician. Not that the Dark Magician is not cool, because I do like the Dark Magician, but I like this card better because it's an alternate, more darker, darker colored version of the Dark Magician, a card that's been known in Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time now. This card, as I said, is my favorite ritual monster. That's why it's number 5 on my list. This card deserves a thumbs up for me because it is truly awesome-tacular. Alright, coming in at number 4, we have a tie. Majestic Star Dragon and Shooting Star Dragon. So I'm going to start with Majestic Star Dragon. This card is absolutely amazing. Alright, for a while I stopped buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I just played around with my cards. When I saw this card's tin, I bought it. It got me back into the Yu-Gi-Oh game. I love this card. It's an upgrade version of Stardust Dragon. I didn't put Stardust Dragon as my favorite card because I honestly don't like Stardust Dragon as much as I like these two cards. These two cards are just simply the coolest Synchro monsters and my favorite Synchro monsters that ever have existed in the game. I love Majestic Star Dragon. I love its awesome ability. You get two choices. You can either, you have the ability to copy someone else's ability by negating it and then being able to use it as yourself, and then you can also nuke the field whenever you want it. It's an awesome card. It got me back into Yu-Gi-Oh. It's amazing. It is one of my two favorite Synchro monsters. Obviously, the other one being Shooting Star Dragon. So yes, I really like this card. All of its abilities, all of its attack, awesome. All right, Shooting Star Dragon. This card is so cool. I can't begin to tell you how cool I think this card is. I love the artwork on this card. The Shooting Star artwork. Whoever made this artwork is just amazing. I would guess Kazuki Takahashi, but I'm not sure if that's really him. But seriously, whoever made this card, they get a bravo. This is amazing artwork. Its effect is just awesome. It's a game of chance. You don't know how many tuners on the top 5 cartridge deck. You're just hoping that you can get like 3 or more. You want more attacks. That's awesome. Its other ability, 2 abilities. I like how it has Stardust ability. You know, you can stop one destruction of a card effect. Well, the effect of a destruction of a card. And you can also negate an attack by removing this card from play. This card's really cool. I love this card. The Accel Synchro monster part of it's awesome. The reason these two cards tie is because I can't really think of which one I like more. Because I love them both awesome. They're my two favorite Synchro monsters because they tie. But they're both upgraded versions of the Stardust Dragon. And I like this card more than Shooting Quasar Dragon. I like this card more than Shooting Quasar Dragon just because this card has cooler artwork. And I think a better effect and a lot easier to summon than Shooting Quasar. I'm not a big fan of Shooting Quasar. I like him, but I don't like how he's played so much on DN and all that. And I don't like his artwork as much as I like this card. And you can't summon him as easily. And stuff like that really puts Shooting Quasar in a lower pedestal than Shooting Star and Majestic Star. These two cards just made my Synchro deck. I would never have my Synchro Dragons deck, which I'm going to display soon, without these two cards. These two cards are the staples, the key cards. I cannot play my Synchro Dragon deck without these cards in my deck. So yeah, that's why these two cards are at number 4. I hate to give a tie, but I really just can't think of any card that would know more. Number 3, Blue Eyes White Dragon. This card is epic. It's the only way I can describe this card. It's flat out epic. It is my favorite dragon type in the game. It is the staple of my Dragon Revival deck. I have every version of this card that has come out to this day. I have owned it. I love this card so much. I've collected all 6 or 7 versions, I believe. I think it's 6. I love this card. My favorite version of this card is the original just because it looks the coolest and it's nice to see the original art of the card that you really grew attached to. I love how this card was Kaiba's card. It's his favorite card. He has the most attachment to it, just like in that episode where he sacrificed Obelisk, and it proves that he likes Blue Eyes more than Obelisk. I really think that this card deserves number 3. I love this card, absolutely. This card has always been one of my favorite cards in the game since I started playing, which was, I believe I started playing when I was like, about 3 years old, so yeah, a while ago. I'll just say a while ago. But yes, this card has always been a great friend of mine. I've always liked this card a lot. This card has meant a lot to me. I love its attack points, I love its defense points, I love its type, its attribute, everything about this card I love. This card is just epic. As I said, the only way to describe it is epic. I really can't think of the words to describe how much I like this card. This card is just amazing. And a little fun fact this card I found on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki is the fact that originally this card was supposed to be Yugi's card. That's right, you heard me right. This card was supposed to be Yugi's. Yugi having the Blue Eyes White Dragon. That would actually be pretty cool. I'm just gonna say, people think, oh, Dark Magician Yugi, but think, what if Blue Eyes was Yugi's? That would make Yugi like the coolest Dragon Master. I would love to see that. But of course, now it's Dark Magician. I like it being instead of Kaiba's, but I was like thinking, what if it was Yugi's? Now, the reason I love this card so much is because I grew up with the card, you know. I loved Kaiba's deck. I modeled my deck after Kaiba when I was younger. I always put this card in. This card was amazing. I would always summon it. I would like, I summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's awesome. In the original game, it was the most powerful card. Now it's really weak. Well, relatively weak. It's not as weak, but it's nowhere near as strong as it was. This card's awesome. I love every variation of this card. As you can see, my Dragon Revival deck, you know, White Dragon Ritual card, you know, Paladin White Dragon, White Stone Legend, Kaiba, everything. Bursting of Destruction. I just love this card. I collected every version. It deserves the number 3 spot, only because there's 2 cards that I think I like more than this card, but does not make this card any less than awesome-tacular. So yeah, Blue Eyes, good job, buddy.
Coming in at number 2 is Dark Magician Girl. Yeah, this cute card, I couldn't resist. I'm a guy, I think this card's adorable. I love it. This card has always been one of my favorite cards ever. And I don't mean that in a perverted way. I think this card's adorable and really cute. I really do like this card. This card is amazing. I love how they made a female Dark Magician Girl. I love its ability to get attack points for Dark Magicians and Magician of Black Chaos. I just love everything about this card. This card is adorable, super cute. This card reminds me of someone in my life. It's a girl, kind of off topic, but I fell in love with her, and this card reminds me of her a lot. I really love this card. Everything about this card. Every time I see this card, I just want to smile. I really do like this card. I know I'm kind of pulling a guy move here by putting Dark Magician Girl as my number 2, but I really do like it. Now, the hardest thing about this card is the fact that my number 1, which you'll figure out later, I'm not going to spoil, the number 2 are kind of interchangeable, so if you ever wonder, they're not going to really definite. I'm just going to think of this off the top of my mind. It could change anytime, but as for now, Dark Magician Girl, you're super adorable, you're cute, I love you, you're number 2. Sorry, but my number 1 I bonded with more. But still, this card is awesome, I love it. It's my favorite female card ever. I like a lot of female cards in this game, but this card is my favorite of all. I love everything about it. I love how it's a couple with Dark Magician. Oh, unofficial, but I still like to think of it as a couple. I liked that stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of pulling off the nerdy attitude, if you're wondering. But yeah, this card's my number 2. I love it. It is my favorite girl card, favorite female card. Really adorable. Just want to stare at it. It's so cute. So yeah, I think that it's overall a great card. A great counterpart, a great alternate to Dark Magician. I love it. I love how it's an apprentice to Dark Magician, and kind of a couple too, as I mentioned. I love when it talks in the games and shows, and kind of has a little minor part like in Wake. I mean, this card is just amazing. I love it. It's awesome. I want it really. I have a lot of versions of this card. My favorite version is actually the original version. No, that's not the picture I'm showing up. I couldn't really find an original version of Unframed card. Sorry about that. But I still love this card a lot. I have 3 versions of it. Well, 3 copies of it. I have 2 versions, 3 copies. I really love this card. I like everything about it. Its effect, its attack points, its level, everything. So yeah, that's why I like Dark Magician Girl. Super cute. My number 1's kind of obvious, but I had to say my favorite card in the game, my favorite monster card in the game, is Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon is my favorite fusion, my favorite monster overall. I absolutely adore this card. Everything about this card I find awesome. I love its Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the next generation. 3 Cyber Dragons as opposed to 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. I really do love this card. I love how it's a fusion monster and it has 4,000 attack points. It's a powerhouse. It's an absolute definition of destructive machine. And it is, of course, as my channel says, a mechanical dragon of the light. I do like my Cyber Dark Dragon. I do like my Cyber Dark Dragon a lot, but I like this card more. Mostly because it's a signature card of Zane Truesdale. My favorite character of the Yugioh GX series and one of my favorite characters overall in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime of the 4. I love this card. I love how anytime he comes like, I summon Cyber End Dragon. And you know, whoever he's doing is screwed. I love this card. It is absolutely amazing. It deserves my number 1 spot because how much bonding I've had this card. I've had this card, I think about 7 years maybe 6. I'm not sure. The first version of this card I got was in a Shonen Jump magazine about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And it was the alternate version of this card. I'm like, wow, this card's awesome. I want to gather the Cyber Dragons and summon this card. And I did, and I now summon it regularly, and it's my ace card. I love this card a lot. It's, of course, obviously, because it's my channel picture. It's my channel itself, is Cyber End Dragon and Cyber Dark Dragon. But I love this card a lot. This card is so much to me. This card is just amazing, And if I ever saw this king card got banned, I would quit playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Not that they would ban this card. If they ever semi'd Cyber Dragon, I would get so pissed. I mean, you could use Proto Cyber, but it's not the same as using 3 legitimate Cyber Dragons to summon this awesome fusion monster. I like this card more than Synchro monsters. Even my favorite Synchro monsters, as I said, my number 4s, my 2 ties. I love this card more than those because I've had more bonding. Those cards are more new than this card. The reason I like this card more than the Dark Magician Girl is I do love Dark Magician Girl, but Cyber and Dragon I just have bonded with more. I've had it for a longer time. I just love this card so much. This card means so much to me. If I ever lost this card, I would get so pissed. I'd be so... well, I wouldn't get pissed. I'd just be really sad, really depressed if I actually lost this card. Well, now I have like 7 copies of this card, but if I lost even one of the 7, I would get so sad. If I lost all 7, oh man, I would be so depressed. I'd probably never play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. God, I love this card. This card is like my sanctuary. I love this card. I built my Zane deck all around this card. This card is awesome. Its piercing ability is really useful. Its high attack points are really useful. Even its 3 components are really useful itself, but I like this card Ultimate. It's my favorite Cyber card, my favorite machine, and of course my favorite monster, as it obviously is, number 1. This card deserves it because it's always been there for me. It's always been a good ace. If I summon this card against dueling my brother or my friend or anything like that, it's always going to pwn. I love this card, everything about it. Of course, it's an awesome alternate, you know, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Here's Cyber and Dragon. I love this card. I just think that this card is the coolest card I've ever seen, and one of my coolest favorite characters ever in the series overall, Zane Trusto. So yeah, that's what I like. Well, what are your favorite cards? Please leave a comment or video response and tell me what your top 10 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters are. And of course, if you like what you see here, you want to see more, click the subscribe button and get maxed out. Thank you!